I haven't really covered this much, so I'm going to be covering it today. But a lot of people are talking about the tariffs going on with Canada, China, and Mexico. But more importantly, they're talking about the tariffs with Canada, specifically because of the statements from Canadians and recent games where, like I believe it was the UFC most recently, where they sang the national anthem and Canadians in the audience decided to boo our national anthem. A lot of people are upset about that. But it's their First Amendment right, even if it's not in the United States. I believe people have the freedom of speech. And if they're angry with the United States, they should be able to boo, as stupid as I think it is. But a lot of people are talking about the tariffs between the United States and Canada because Donald Trump is essentially starting a trade war. And I think it's a necessary trade war considering the tariffs that Canada has levied against the United States over the years. And they've basically enjoyed no tariffs. We've had very minimal tariffs. In my research, found the only real tariffs that we've had have been on soft wood, and the tariffs only went up to like 14 to 20%. So Canada has been enjoying no tariffs levied against them, while also levying multiple very high tariffs against the United States. So it's about time we get these trade deals in order and get a more fair deal, more bang for our buck, as they say. So we have this on X. Trudeau backs Canadian boycott amid United States tariffs. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has publicly supported Canadians choosing to boycott American vacation and products in response to U.S. tariffs. This sentiment was expressed during a news conference where he mentioned the possibility of continuing to practice of booing the American national anthem. While Trudeau's statements highlighted trade dispute and encouraged Canadian nationalism, there exists a broad spectrum of Canadian reactions, ranging from support to criticism of the approach. So I really like these the way that X has been doing the little trending things. A lot of people have been using them. Grok basically just summarizes what everyone's talking about, and they have these like generated titles and stuff. Definitely helps when I'm making my videos. Helps in the research and stuff. But anyway, let's get into this video by Justin Trudeau that's making the rounds, where he has a few things.
We're going to choose to not go on vacation in Florida or Old Orchard Beach or wherever. We're going to choose to try to buy Canadian products and forego bourbon and other classic American products. And yeah, we're probably going to keep booing the American anthem. We're going to choose
so he just comes off as really weak, and I'm not trying to be biased. Like, I don't know what kind of messaging this is. As far as buying Canadian, yeah, I mean, I support Canadians buying Canadian as much as I support Americans buying American. You should support your own country. You should buy from your own country when possible. If you have to outsource things and it's a must to outsource things, then I mean, so be it. But overall, you should be able to make and produce things in your own country and only go to other people when you absolutely have to. So we have this article from Reuters. Trump triggers trade war, price hikes with tariffs on Canada, China, and Mexico. And then I'm not going to read the summary. I'll just read some of this here. So U.S. President Donald Trump has 25% tariffs on imports for Mexico and Canada that took effect yesterday. I'm recording this on Wednesday. Should be posting it today. Along with fresh duties on Chinese goods, sparking trade wars that could slam economic growth and raise prices for Americans. The move, which could upend nearly $2.2 trillion in annual trade, came after Trump declared that the top three U.S. trading partners had failed to do enough to stem the flow of fentanyl and its precursor chemicals into the United States. So, yeah, I mean, we have a massive problem at both of our borders, the southern border being the worst offender. But Canada also has a problem, too. They also allow people to cross the border illegally. They also allow drugs to come in through their own country as well. They're not doing enough on their end. Sure, there is more that the United States can be doing, and we are trying, at least it appears so. But our neighbors need to be putting in the work, too, to secure our borders. It can't just be us. And how do you do that? Well, you hit them in their pocketbook. In the address to Congress, Trump said further tariffs would follow on April 2nd, including reciprocal tariffs and non-tariff actions aimed at balancing out years of trade imbalances, which I'll get into shortly because trade imbalances are that's a nice way of putting it. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn, citing high duties imposed on U.S. goods by India, South Korea, the European Union, China, and others. So, yeah, we have all these different trades with all these other countries, and when you go to trade with these other countries, they force you to pay a premium, essentially. That's what these tariffs are. It's basically a premium to have the privilege to trade in their country. And the reason they do that, and the reason I'm completely fine with other countries putting tariffs on us, is they're trying to protect their own interest. If we, as the United States, make something for $10, and then for whatever reason we're trading with South Korea, and the product that they're making is being made for, let's say, $30, well, they're gonna buy from us because it's cheaper. But then that hurts their their factories or whatever they're making it. It hurts their manufacturing. So it's in their own interest to put these tariffs out there, just as it's in the United States tariffs to. I don't even know what I just said there. It is in the United States' interest to put these tariffs out there. I mixed up those words. It is in the United States' interest to put these tariffs out there because then it protects our industry. That's the word I was. It protects our industry because if, like, for China example, China literally has slave labor. How do you compete with slave labor? And they just take all of our jobs, they take our manufacturing, we outsource it because it's cheaper. But now we don't make anything here in the United States anymore because it's cheaper to get it other places. The only way to fix that is by artificially raising the prices of other people's goods and forcing companies to come back to the United States. Which, I wish it wasn't the case, but that's the only way to get manufacturing back to the United States. That's the only way to bring industries back to the United States. You need to force them to come back by making it more expensive to be for them to be in other places. So let's see. China. Wait. Okay. Here we are. China's Foreign Affairs Ministry shot back defiantly. If war is what the United States wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end. That's China's Foreign Affairs Ministry, which China's not very friendly with us. Of course, they get upset when we want to start trade wars with them because they benefit very greatly from our purchasing, and they don't want to see that go away. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told reporters that U.S. officials had spoken with Mexico and Canada all day and might still work out a partial resolution with the two neighbors, adding that they need to do more on the fentanyl front. I think there will be some movement. It will not be. They will not eliminate tariffs. This is Trump. I think there'll be some movement. It will not eliminate the tariffs, but it might modify the tariffs somewhat, he said, pointing to a decision on Wednesday. Lutnick said Trump was considering providing some relief to the companies that comply with rules under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement on trade that is due for renegotiation on the 2026. Trump has hailed his tariff agenda, his effort to curb fentanyl overdose crisis, and a Ukraine minerals deal during a national televised address to a joint session of Congress on night, which I will probably have a video about that later today. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate it. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau described the tariffs as a very dumb thing to do and hit back with 25% tariffs on $30 billion worth of U.S. imports, including orange juice, peanut butter, wine, spirits, beer, coffee, and appliances and motorcycles. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum vowed retaliation, but without details, saying she would announce Mexico's response on Sunday. So we'll hear about that over the weekend. Lutnick's comments on negotiations lifted the Canadian dollar and Mexican peso off of deep losses earlier on Tuesday, but Trump's tariffs prompted a global stock sell-off. China responded immediately, announcing additional tariffs of 10 to 15% on certain U.S. imports from March 10th and a series of new export restrictions for designated U.S. entities. Later, it raised complaints about the U.S. tariffs with the World Trade Organization. So China's running to the World Trade Organization to complain about the United States. Boo-hoo. I don't really care. I mean, like I said, all these countries have tariffs against the United States. So what is wrong with us putting tariffs on them, especially when we have a reason to do so? We're trying to get better trade deals. We're also trying to stop them getting fentanyl to our country. Because China is a part of that too. China basically sends the cartels all the materials to make the fentanyl there. So China needs to do more as well. Trudeau said Canada would impose tariffs on another $125 billion of U.S. goods if Trump's tariffs were still in place in 20 days, likely to include motor vehicles, steel, aircraft, beef, and pork. Canada also will challenge the U.S. Tariffs under rules of the World Trade Organization. Words here. U.S. Mexican Canada free trade agreement. They've chosen to launch a trade war that will first and foremost harm American families, Trudeau said on of Trump administration. Yeah, I think it'll harm the Canadians a lot more than it's going to harm Americans. And, a lot of people are complaining because Trump said he would get prices down within, like, his first, he would get the prices down very quickly is essentially what he said. But he again said in his address to Congress last night that there is going to be some pain in the market. I forget how he worded it, but basically what he was saying is that we are going to see some price increases in the short term, but long term going forward, he's trying to get us better trade deals, which, like I said, I'm in support of. I'm perfectly fine with that as long as it actually does turn out that we get actual better trade deals. If it just turns out that we have prices increase forever, then obviously that will not be good. Trudeau said he believes Trump instead wants to weaken the Canadian economy, to the point where Ottawa would consider annexation by the United States. Now, that's an interesting statement by Trudeau. I haven't seen that anywhere else other than Reuters, so that's an interesting statement. Annexation by the United States. I don't know about that. I don't know if I mean, Donald Trump's alluded to taking parts of Canada, but I'm pretty sure he's said that in jest. I don't think that's any actual thing he wants to do. Trump says a lot of things just off the cuff, so I don't really believe. Ontario Premier Doug Ford tore up a $100 million contract with Elon Musk's Starlink network, banned U.S. firms from provincial government contracts, and said that if Trump's tariffs persist, he will apply a 25% surcharge to Ontario electricity exports to the United States. I've also seen statements from officials in Canada saying that they would cut off power to parts of the United States because we get some of our power from them, which not good. That would not be good for the United States, and that definitely not be good for Canada. That might even be an act of war. What do you think? Comments be an act. But of course, we have people like the Krasensteins, Brian Krasenstein specifically, scenes from Ontario, Canada, making America great again by the world hating us and not buying from us. Uh, and then this is American liquor produced in red states that has been ordered to be taken off the shelves in Ontario, which there are multiple videos of this. This isn't just the one store, but a lot of people are pointing out how utterly ridiculous this is. Like, okay, great, that we have tariffs that we have to, or Canada has tariffs that they now have to deal with, and what does this do? You already bought the liquor, you've already imported it, sell it off, and then don't restock. I mean, I don't understand taking it off the shelf. That only hurts the store. That only hurts the people that bought it already. Um, it's just it's like virtue signaling. This might hurt American liquor. This might hurt people that sell it in the long term. But as of right now, these being taken off the shelf, this doesn't actually affect. So it's just interesting to see overall that people are pointing this out. But I think more to the point is that these companies might not be restocking American liquor. They might not be importing it going forward, which it is what it is. That's what happens when you get a trade war. We'll see what happens going forward. But these are the retaliatory tariffs. Just some of them. I had them summarized by Grok. So Canada imposed a 25% tariff on a bunch of different things. Here's the list here if you just want to pause and read that. But this is just the short list. Grok doesn't want to list all of it unless I ask it specifically. But as you see there, 1,256 specific products. So that there's a lot. I'm not going to read through that. And it looks like we will be getting more tariffs in about 21 days. If this isn't, what is it? If this isn't, I'm lost on the words here. If this isn't reconciled, I guess is another way you could say it. And then here's another list of possible things that could be tariffed going forward. And then it says where you could find a detailed list. This is just Grok. And then down here. So what does what does Canada tariff on the United States prior to these new tariffs? That's what I asked. So looks like pre-existing tariffs on specific U.S. goods. We have dairy products up to 299%. This is prior to us starting a trade war. Poultry 249%. Chicken and turkey. Eggs 163% tariff. So Canada already had tariffs on these goods prior to us starting a trade war with them. Softwood and lumber, they had a 20% tariff on that, and exact rates varied by company and region, but were typically below 10%. But still, tariff on lumber. Steel and aluminum, they tariff that. Retaliatory tariffs from 2018. This is when Trump was having another bit of a trade battle with them. They were tariffing things up to 10%. Just the bunch of tariffs, other minor tariffs. Key takeaway: supply managed agricultural sectors. I can't speak today. I wake up too early. But what kind of tariffs did the United States have on Canada prior to this? None really. There's all this here if you want to pause and read some of it. But in summary, prior to the recent 25% tariffs imposed on March 4th, 2025, the U.S. did not have broad universal tariffs against Canadian goods due to the duty-free framework of the USMCA. The primary exceptions were the softwood lumber duties, around 14.54%, occasional TRQs on agricultural products like dairy, and sporadic anti-dumping and countervailing duties on specific items. These measures affected only a small fraction of the overall trade volume, as Canada was the largest trading partner with over 75% of its exports to the United States flowing tariff-free under the USMCA. Before the recent escalation, the 2025 tariffs marked a significant shift from the relatively open trade relationship. And it was only open on our part. As you can see from Grok himself, they had massive tariffs on our what is it? Dairy, poultry, and egg market. So it's like you have all these massive tariffs on us. I mean, that's crazy. That 299%. Basically, what that means is if you had eggs for, let's say, an outrageous number, like you're buying a massive pallet of egg or like massive, like 24 pack of eggs, $10. Let's say it's $10. Well, it's going to Canada now. It's like $30 or $40 because of the tariffs. So that's how much that would affect us in the States. That is exactly why Donald Trump has started this trade war to get better deals for us going forward. So, like I said, I'm all for it as long as we actually get better deals going forward. It's going to hurt in the short term, but it's something that has to happen. Just like with a lot of things, got to rip that Band-Aid off. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens going forward, but that's the update. That's the news. Thank you for tuning in to Tyler Today News. Check me out 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day. I started live streaming. If you want to be a guest, hit me up on X. I'm looking for people to co-host and guest with me. I do have some friends that'll be on every now and again, but they have their own shows to run, so let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and thank you. Peace out.